From Michael Oluwakande to Mark Madsen, these NBA players just didn't have what it takes to be a good baller. Here are the worst players in NBA history. Starting with Kenny Anderson. Kenny Anderson was an amazing point guard coming out of college. He was drafted second overall in 1991 and was expected to be a star in the league. Anderson had a solid run in the 90s, playing for teams like the New Jersey Nets, Charlotte Hornets, and Boston Celtics. But sadly, despite his talent, he never quite lived up to the hype. Anderson was known for his flashy style of play and his incredible ball handling skills, but his inability to shoot accurately and his tendency to turn the ball over kept him from becoming a true star. He was also criticized for his poor defense and his lack of effort on the court, which prevented him from reaching his full potential. Speaking of players lacking effort, I have Eddie Curry. This is a name that will always bring back memories for fans of the early 2000s. He was one of the biggest names coming out of high school and was drafted 4th overall in 2001 by the Chicago Bulls. Curry had a promising start to his career and was known for his imposing size and strength, which made him a force to be reckoned with in the paint. He was also known for his impressive athleticism, which allowed him to run the floor and finish with power. But despite his physical gifts, Curry's career never quite took off.
So you just really noticed the whole dynamic of the neighborhoods change, and just had to adjust to it.
He struggled with weight issues and conditioning, which prevented him from reaching his full potential. And he was also criticized for his lack of effort on the defensive end and for his poor work ethic, which limited his impact on the court. Although he could have done so much better, the poor guy just didn't have his heart in the game. The next one was also a dominant force on the court despite not being big in the league. I'm talking about none other than the big guy Nicholas Tskitishvili. Drafted 5th overall in 2002, Tskitishvili never lived up to the hype. Born in Georgia and described as a 7-foot athletic stretch 4, he's the best example of the league's obsession with unknown arriving overseas talent. It's not like his 6.6 points and 1.8 rebounds in 11 games with Benetton Treviso would have warranted a top 5 choice.
Play even better. So I hope we're going to play them in a playoffs, and hopefully we do better.
We'll never truly understand the controversy, especially given Tskitishvili's lifetime average of 2.9 points per game. He was known for his poor shooting, and he quickly became a journeyman player who bounced around the league for several years. Moving on, we have Darko Milicic. This is a mistake that the Detroit Pistons will never forget, ever. Milicic was selected 2nd overall on the same NBA draft in 2003 that produced LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade, all of whom went off to become part of the top 5. It doesn't take a genius to see how well this worked out for Detroit. In the span of 3 seasons with the Pistons, the guy averaged 1.6 points and 1.2 rebounds while shooting 34% from the field. These statistics are true. According to the Pistons, Milicic was one of the biggest busts in NBA draft history. In fact, Milicic has famously stated that he didn't even like basketball and that he only pursued it because of the money. I can't even imagine how humiliated the Pistons must have felt after him.
Role players. If we would have drafted Melo would have wanted to play right then.
Now, the next one is for all of you OGs who were fans of the league in the 1990s. I'm talking about the big guy who led the Stanford Cardinal, Mark Madsen. He helped them reach the Final Four in 1998 and assisted the squad in securing 4 NCAA tournament berths. When Mad Dog was chosen in the first round back in 2000, the Los Angeles Lakers thought that this would translate to the NBA. I mean, if he was that good, then it's not surprising that they would have such high expectations for him. But it never happened, despite the team's success under Phil Jackson. In 3 seasons, Madsen averaged 2.6 points for the Lakers. He also played for the Timberwolves for a total of 6 more seasons, averaging 0.4 points over his final 2 campaigns. He did manage to excel in one category, though, the honor of being the worst basketball player ever.
So Tayshaun in the starting lineup, and we come back and win that series. So Tayshaun had paid his dues.
Next up, it's Michael Oluwakande. This 7-foot center was picked first in the 1998 NBA draft. He came from a small California college called Pacific and was thought to be the next big thing, but this quickly died down once people saw how he played. The Candyman, as he was called, went on to average 9.9 points and 5.8 rebounds in 5 boring seasons with the struggling Clippers. Then he moved on to the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Boston Celtics. Oluokandi averaged 3.9 points and 3.7 rebounds in his last 2 seasons in the NBA. The fact that Vince Carter, Dirk Nowitzki, and Paul Pierce were all picked after him in the draft makes him look even worse in Southern California. Next on the list, we have another player who showed great potential during his college days, but then failed to perform up to the hype. Anthony Bennett is the perfect example of a college basketball player who controls amateur competition because of his physical strength. But he's also a perfect example of one who can't do the same when playing with players who are just as strong but have better skills. Bennett was taken with the first overall pick by the Cleveland Cavaliers, but he didn't play much for them for long.
Really serious about it, but it was just kind of all fun and games, but hey, it's a reality now.
Soon after, he was traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves as part of the Kevin Love deal. Since then, Bennett has played Canadian pro basketball in and out of the league because he couldn't make the team there either. This list wouldn't be complete if I failed to mention Adam Morrison. When he played well for the Gonzaga Bulldogs, a new college team, he was called the next Great White Hope. This is why the then Charlotte Bobcats selected the forward with the 3rd pick in the NBA draft in 2006. After a pretty good rookie year in 2006-2007, Morrison went on to average 3.4 points per game in his last 2 seasons in the NBA. Before he tried out for Serbia, he had a short career in the NBA where he shot 36% from the field. Tyrus Thomas, Sheldon Williams, Patrick O'Brien, and Mohamed Sine were all taken in the top 10 of the same draft class as Morrison, but he didn't have the same talent or luck and was left behind. The last on the list is the short-lived Asian NBA star Sun Ye. The Lakers spent a second-round pick on Chinese player Sun Ye because they thought he would be the next Lamar Odom, but this time from Asia. Ye played pro basketball for the Beijing Olympians in the Chinese Basketball Association since he was 17, so the Lakers thought this experience might come in handy, but boy were they wrong. After Ye showed some skill in the D-League for a short time, the Lakers gave him a chance to show what he could do for the purple and gold in the NBA. It did not go well. In his first 5 minutes on the court, Ye got 4 fouls and turned the ball over twice. He then went on to get more fouls than points and as many turnovers as assists and steals put together. It only took the Lakers 10 games to figure out that Ye just wasn't cut out to play in the NBA. That's it for the worst players in NBA history. We'll see you in the next video.